5 greatest disadvantages of being rich. Liquor fixation. Regardless of whether we don't understand it, many individuals instinctively partner liquor fixation with budgetary pressure and lower pay levels. While there should be some association between the two, we can say without a doubt that it has nothing to do with the cash itself. Despite what can be expected as per one examination in any event, liquid usage is by all accounts considerably more common in the more extravagant areas of the society. A study found that nations like Britain, Ireland and Portugal drink the most. However, there were contrasts in the pace of addiction inside every nation, as well. Nearly across Europe, the rich appear to drink substantially more than poor people. While it might sound nonsensical, different investigations recommend that it might essentially have to do with getting two rich people to drink a ton since they have more liquor to drink. Tension and depression. Being rich has been connected to more elevated levels of different mental issues like nervousness in numerous examinations before, alongside a couple of different issues you wouldn't anticipate. One investigation, for instance, found that youngsters living in prosperous rural areas are significantly more liable to show pointers of maladjustment. Like more elevated levels of tension and misery, narcissism and substance misuse than downtown children. Getting more cash only makes you moderately happier. Being rich is related to many short and long-haul issues, and the trade-off is not justified, despite all the trouble, too. Making more cash doesn't expand your general joy past a point, except if you hit it huge. That implies that somebody with total assets of $10 million is probably going to be as nearly as upbeat as somebody with $100 million. Regardless of whether gaining that $90 million despite everything requires an enormous measure of exertion. It's boring. The one thing about getting rich that energizes the vast majority is the possibility of never working again. Envision what amount of time you'd have for yourself if you essentially had a lot of cash to live off as long as you can remember. While the facts confirm that having a ton of cash permits you a larger number of hours of the day for yourself than somebody who needs to work professionally, it additionally gets exhausting. As indicated by one mogul, that is probably the greatest disservice of raking in boatloads of cash. Working for food and the safe house doesn't simply give food and safe house, yet also, inspiration to improve throughout everyday life. An absence of that inspiration and drive can and frequently does prompt other, greater issues, similar to melancholy. Stress. 20 to 30-year-olds and other more youthful ages are prominently observed as under more elevated levels of worry than any past age, as well. From rising understudy obligation to over-the-top property rents in most urban territories around the globe, things don't look excessively well for any individual who isn't old and well-to-do. As incidentally, however, that recognition couldn't possibly be more off-base. Many investigations show that more established and more extravagant laborers report a lot more elevated levels of business-related worry than their more youthful partners. While that may imply that more cash accompanies more pressure, it might likewise imply that more youthful, less experienced experts are simply progressively open-minded towards ordinary work issues. Narcissism. It's a typical thought that the more extravagant you are, the more self-assimilated you become. How true is it? If logical examinations are anything to pass by, it is truly precise. Having more cash than others accompanies the social and mental expense of decreased trust in your general surroundings, as no one can tell who just likes you for your cash. It drives you to just search inwards for arrangements, which is not an exceptionally solid approach to life in the general public, prompting mental issues like narcissism.